What up, guys? Another Adonis review. Today I will tackle Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This is the follow up to Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is Ichiban Kasuga's second tale as the main star. But this game is a special oddity because it does bring back Kiryu as a secondary, almost even to Ichiban as a main character of the game. They are pretty well divided between the two, and with that, it does give you a very well broken down way to satisfy not only learning more about Ichiban and you know the way that you love him as a character, but also giving you a very nice ending for Kiryu and kind of wrapping up his story and remembering that he is there and having him be able to grow bonds with Ichiban beyond just him being in the background as well. So let's kind of go over what you should expect and what you should plan for if you've never played it. Now, like I said, this game is the follow up to, Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. And if you were to ask any reasonable person, can you play this game without playing that one? You can, but I don't know why you would. It's not like graphically this game is, 10,000 years past the other one and you can't enjoy the previous one. The graphics are pretty much similar. The story of the first one is fantastic, and it's his origin story. You should for sure 100% play Like a Dragon 7 first. There's no reason you shouldn't. There's no non benefit to it. Like I said, there's no graphical problems. The way it fights and plays is exactly the same. You should 1000% play that one first. It makes no sense for you not to do it, and you'll see why Ichiban is such a beloved character. And then when you move on to this new story, you'll be excited to learn more about Ichiban and his life. If you are a fan of the other Yakuza games, you'll have the nice connection with Kiryu being in there and having his connection with Ichiban and being able to see both of them. Now, if you have played Like a Dragon 7, the first version of Ichiban, the game is very much similar. It is still a turn based style game for 99% of it, but the game kind of splits into, like I said, two stories with at a certain point, kind of every chapter switching. One chapter you'll be Ichiban and his group, and you'll kind of solely focus, on Hawaii and in Honolulu. And then I guess mini spoiler, beginning of the game spoiler. Eventually, you'll focus on Kiryu, whose story focuses more so on Japan. So you will be able to explore the classic areas of Yakuza games like Sotenbori and where Ichiban started in the first game as well, and as well as the new destination of Hawaii, chapter by chapter. And because you have two different areas with essentially you'll get two different groups of people, so you'll see a bunch of different characters and jobs you can get, and it seems overwhelming at first. Well, there's so many because you're essentially going to have two parties at a single time. Like I said, one chapter, you'll work on one party with Ichiban, and the next you'll kind of focus on the second party with Kiryu. So you are at any given time, kind of training six people, not including Kiryu and Ichiban. So that's why there's so many jobs. Be smart when you use them. They do have all the normal nice tropes from the original games. They have where you can call in a friend, pound mates, and have them saved. They've added something called Sujimon, which is kind of an adaptation of what they had before. But it's basically kind of like a Pokemon fight with weirdos and pervs that you can catch and gather. You can win them over with gifts and give them compliments, and possibly you'll catch them just like a Pokeball. And you have a side story where you have to take down the Sujimon League, which is like the Elite Four, and beat their classic Jack, Queen, King, and so forth. So that's a nice little side story they added. They've also added something of a kind of like a Dragon 7. They have this like business that you can kind of have, which it wasn't the most expansive when it came to doing things. It was really you just picking properties and kind of investing and whatnot. They've kind of grown it a little bit more, so it's a little bit more interactive in this one, where you get kind of like a resort island that's all yours, and you build shops and you can kind of decorate it as you please, and you have to kind of fight off these goons that are trying to ruin the resort as you bring it to a 5-star, which a lot of people say it's like one of those classic Switch Animal Crossing games. So that might be fun for somebody. It's a nice little way to divide your thing. And then there's the classic breakdown of all the normal things where you meet different people and recurring people and people from previous games. And like I said, with Kiryu, you have a lot of reminiscent people that you kind of see from the first games and reflect on them and see them now that they're older and wiser, and how they're dealing with Kiryu and his supposed death. So, like I said, the reason you enjoyed the first game, for I imagine 99% of the population, is the story and the plot. This game is very similar, where you could be playing it and you get wrapped into a 30-minute cutscene, and all of a sudden you'll have a quick action timed event, and you're like, wow, I'm in the middle of I thought I was in the middle of a story. How rude for you to prop that up on me when I didn't expect it. So, you do have to really be prepared to essentially watch a TV show with turn-based fighting every now and then sprinkled in. And, you might think that's a negative, but this story, unlike the Like a Dragon TV show that just came out on Amazon Prime, this story actually is enjoyable, worth watching, and you are constantly interested to see what's going to happen next, and what are the secrets that are being hidden, and find out what's actually happening behind the scenes of this. And of course, it kind of eventually grows into some giant, huge world sparking conspiracy that only Ichiban and Kiryu can overwhelm fight. But if you loved the first game, Like a Dragon 7, for the story, then you'll love this one to the same. The way they've added Kiryu into it to kind of give him a nice send off, even if he does happen to come back in the future. This is a very nice kind of memoriam for him in a way. And the way they've kind of added Ichiban's story and his growth and everything. He's still the lovable guy that is a friend to the end for anyone who fights him. The fighting's the same. The way they give you the growth on jobs and everything is expansive, so you can make each character have a bit of variety when it comes to healing or magic or damage and what have you. And the way they've added these Sujimon leagues and little side games to kind of help, along with any mini games like darts and little side things like that. It's a good variety. You're definitely going to get anywhere from 50 to 100 hours into this game, and it'll fly by pretty quick once you start getting into the story and really committing to it. So, if you like Like a Dragon 7, you will for sure like this one. I'd say it's a fair price. You probably, unless they give to free on Game Pass or something like that, you should expect to probably pay $30, $40. I'd say fair enough. This game's probably worth like $25, 25, 30 is pretty fair to pay for it. It's tough to find this on sale pretty often, so If you like number 7, you'll like this one. If you haven't played number 7, you're just to get into it. I think you'll like it for the story, even so it does get slow. Once you do get into it, you will enjoy it. But like I said, I would definitely do number 7 first if you haven't played it. It just makes more sense to do that and get the beginning of the story with no real negatives. Like I said, there's no downgrade. Hope this helps in your decision. If you agree or don't agree, let me know. Thanks, guys.